everyone, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. So today is one of those most requested videos from Creativation. Now, I showed you a couple of new things from Thermoweb, and today I'm going to show you how to actually use them. So we're going to be using the new Flock transfer sheets. Now, I don't have the neon ones yet, but these are the newer colors that kind of came out towards the end of last year, and the neon works exactly the same. So I'm going to show you that. I'm also going to show you about the new Transfer Gel Duo, which is awesome. And I'm going to do a reminder about Pixie Spray, because this came out last year at Creativation, and it's probably one of our most watched videos almost on the channel because it is just awesome. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I have a piece of cardstock and my stencil. This is the new Hedgehog Hollow stencil in the February box. And it's a cool stencil because look at this pretty design. You can use partially on a card, which is what we're going to do, like this. You could do it just over a corner like this, or you can use it on a 6x6 card. But what we also gave you were these pieces that slot in so you can do extra details if you want to. So afterwards you could go back, put this over, and you can ink in here. And I'm going to show you how you add ink onto your flock sheets as well. So lots and lots of fun things. But first of all, I'm going to use Pixie Spray. So this is a light tack adhesive spray, and you use it on the back of your stencil. So I'm just going to give it a light spritz. And normally I would use a splat box, but I'm lucky down here I have a concrete floor, so I kind of don't worry too much about those things. But I'm just going to give it a light spray and then just let it dry for a minute or so. And then what that's going to do is it's going to stick my stencil down. It's going to avoid more bleeding, and it means that I don't have to tape everything and it just sits nicely. Then I'm going to use this Transfer Gel Duo. So previously we had Transfer Gel, but it was heat activated only. Now this one is heat activated or pressure activated, which I really, really love. So with Flock, you can do a couple of different things with it. You can emboss with it, you can cut with it, and lots of you asked for a 5 ways to use Flock video. Well, that will be coming later, but this one I kind of already had on the agenda. But yeah, so it will tell you on here different ways to do it. You can use it as a foam adhesive sheet, which will be in the video. But this one, we're using this Duo. And again, you can do it in different ways. So this time we're going to be doing it with pressure, but you can also do it with heat in your laminator. So lots of different things. And I'm using a dark cardstock too, so it just pops a little bit more with that flock. So let's open this up. And I'm going to pop down my stencil. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of do a flare going across my card like this. So something fun. And of course we're not going to waste, so we're going to use this bit off the top. I'm using my media tools right here. Pick that up, and I'm going to need a little bit more, so I'm going to grab a nice bit out of here. And then I'm just going to scrape it across the surface. So I want just a nice even coating. Obviously just be careful and don't do what I just did there. And we're just going to give a nice coat across our project. And then any excess we can just scoop up and put straight back in. So it's a really low waste technique, which of course we all love as crafters because we don't want to waste those crafty supplies. They're pricey and very special. So I'm just making sure I've got a nice good coating, pretty even. You don't want any areas that look too thin. I'm going to make sure it's kind of that nice creamy colour. There we go. Okay, so all your excess can go back away. Just wash this stencil under warm water. So I'm going to peel this off. And you want to peel it off before it dries. So that's how it's going to look. If you've got any little smushes, we can just take those off and take something like your sand eraser to them. You'll find they'll just disappear. But by the time we're done, you're not going to see any of my little boo-boos. But you can see I've got a nice clear image on there. So the next thing to do is let this dry. It's going to be about 20 minutes, half an hour or so. Depends on your climate. When we were at Phoenix at Creativation doing this, it probably dried in 10. If you're using a laminator and your laminator is on, pop it on top of your laminator. It'll dry much quicker. But we're looking for it to go into a more of a clear state. So once it's done, it's going to look something like this. You can see it now looks clear. And then, as I say, so this is the Duo Gel. So you can use this with pressure and adhesive, or you can use it with heat in your laminator. So I'm going to take a flock sheet here. As I say, tons of different things you can do with this, but we are going to be doing it with the Duo Gel. And I'm going to show you with heat, because previously we always did this with pressure, and that would just be running it through your Gemini machine or whatever die cutting machine you have. But with this one, we're just going to lay our flock over the top like this. And I have these special little laminating pouches you can put them in. You can also just put it in a piece of parchment paper. I just happen to have these and I like them. And now I'm going to run it through my laminator. So we're just going to run it through. It does take a second to go through. And then I'm going to show you a couple of other cool things you can do with it. But as I say, with the Duo Gel, you have the option. You can run it through the heat with Laminator. And I'm using the Royal Sovereign, which is the Thermoweb recommended one. I also really like the Amazon Laminator. It's a great one too. Or you can use a die cutting machine, whether that's your Big Shot, your Gemini, your Tangerine, you know, whatever you happen to have, you can use any of those. And you literally just put the flock in like I have there, put your normal sandwich in as though you're putting a Thinlits die in, and run it through your machine, and that pressure will do exactly the same as the heat that we're doing right now. So this has nearly come all the way through. And then we're going to peel off our flock. I'm going to show you how to add ink on, and then we're going to mount it up into a really simple card too. So lots and lots of different things that you can do. I'm going to press this release button so I can just pull out the end, because I don't need it to run all the way through. And then you're going to pull this out, and this is where the fun part comes in. So now I'm going to peel back my flock. And there is also a new Blanco transfer gel, which is great too. You could try that. But look, how easy was that? And it pops so well. Plus you could use this resist piece, you could cut it out. And you see how it's embossed? You can see there how you can emboss in that same way. But we'll save that for another video. So now you can add extra depth and dimension if you wanted to. So for instance, I could lay these pieces over that I talked to you about. And I'm just going to take a little bit of worn lipstick. And I'm going to darken up the center of that petal, and then I'm going to peel it off. And so you see how I've added extra dimension. So you can change the color of your flock by ink blending or using a stencil. You could stencil over just, you know, a plain piece. I'm just going to go around and add it to all of these. And because I'm using a distress ink, it's going to sit on the flock, but I'm not going to see if I go on the navy. If I used an oxide, I would see if I went on that navy cardstock. So there's a tip there. I'm just going to go around here. And on these. Add a little bit of ink in these. You see, it just adds a little bit of extra detail to it as well. And then sentiment-wise, you could heat emboss. I'm probably going to do a white strip afterwards. I quite often leave my cards blank and then add my sentiment when I'm ready to send it, because this one really could be, it could be a birthday card, it could be a Mother's Day card, it could be a hello card, it could be all sorts of things. And maybe if you're part of our perks program, you can hit join below. You might get this as your birthday card. So we send out all these cards we make here on the channel to our perks members. So I'm going to cut this down. And I'm cutting a little bit off each side. So I'm cutting it down to 3 3/4. So I'm going to take a little bit more off of this side. And then we want to cut this way down to 5 inches. So again, I like to take a little bit off of each side and just even it up. You could also pre-cut before you did any of your stamping. We're going to cut this piece of plain pink down. This one's going to go down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. Just like that. And I'm going to use a card base. I really like pre-cut, pre-scored card bases. They cost a little bit more, but these are a really nice quality one. They're from scrapbook.com. They're a nice Nina heavyweight. You all know I love my Nina. Let's just grab something pointy. There we go. And they come pre-cut, pre-scored, so you know they're perfectly straight. They've already got that score line in, so literally all you have to do is press across the center. Craft pick would be perfect, but I'll grab my little cut. So let's open that up and grab one of these out. And they do vertical and horizontal, just depending on what you prefer. And you see how easy that is to fold? It's literally done for me. So let's take our pink. And we're going to stick this on. This is the Gina K Dots Runner. It is refillable. It is a really nice adhesive. I have a few in my drawer that I'm happy to reach for any of those, and this is one of them. I'm going to stick this on. Now I'm going to stick on my navy panel. And then you can embellish this however you want. Maybe you want to add some Nuvo drops onto it. Maybe you want a sentiment across here. I mean, lots and lots of different options. So I'm going to be decorating this one up afterwards for one of our birthday cards. And I also added just that little hint of pink, so it just pops against that background. Super, super simple. I love Flock. Careful how you say that. It is awesome, and I love the neon flock that'll be coming soon. And we'll have more tutorials on 5 ways to use foil, 5 ways to use flock. We've got all the neon pop things coming up from Rina K, so stay tuned for all of those. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button and rung the bell below. And if you want to go and shop at Thermoweb, join our perks program. They give you tons and tons of discounts just exclusive to our perks members and our subscription box members. So if you have our subscription box, you'll get this fun stencil and $100 worth of product, plus you'll get all of those amazing discount codes too. So I will see you again tomorrow, another tip trick tutorial, or maybe something a little bit different. I hope you'll join me then. In the meantime, happy crafting. Bye.